name is Sageism, but you can call me Sage, and listen. I am about to explain to you in exactly 1 minute a spiritual community that I'm finally opening this week, and it's closing its doors Friday. If you could care less about this information, boom. There's a timestamp right here, and you can just go on and go for what you came for. No harm, no foul. But if you are on your spiritual journey or you're just starting, then this is for you. Do you ever have this longing to connect to something deeper within yourself and the world you see around you? But every time you look, you either run into God or religion, and none of that resonates with you, or two, you just keep running into these whitewashed spiritual buzzwords like manifestation or law of attraction, and it all just honestly feels like bullshit to you, right? If you have this urge to find your purpose because you can feel it within you that you're meant to do more than what you're doing now, then I invite you to join Soulduality. You're going to get access to a community of people that are just like you, who are on their spiritual journey. You're going to get access to new teachings every week about shadow work and mindset. And you're also going to get access to monthly guest speakers who will teach you about chakras and breath work and embodiment practice. That way you don't have to worry about figuring it out all on your own. This is a chance for you to do your spiritual journey without the overwhelm or confusion. If any of that resonates with you, then I will leave the link in the description below. Phew, I kept my promise. Now here we go. Now, keep in mind that I am not going to be talking about Kundalini risings. If you came here to learn how to open your third eye so you can astral project or see spirits or any of that, then this is not the video for you. I'm sorry, I probably should have put that in the very beginning, but I'm all about practicality on my page. I think there is a sweet spot right where practicality and spirituality meet. Here's a picture of all the chakras and what they do and the colors and whatnot that resonate with them. I'll also leave a link in the description below. There's also literally probably millions of videos on YouTube that talk about chakras. What I do want you to know is that each chakra you have represents an aspect of your own life, and it is when you tap into these aspects of your life and balance them that it allows you to have a deeper connection with yourself and with spirit. I'm going to give you journal prompts on each chakra that'll help you work through these points and balance them out. You'll also want to pay attention to the sound healing tones that I'll post and the mantras, because those are actually very, very helpful when you actually do them. So first up is the root chakra. I want you to think Maslow's hierarchy of needs. This is all about feeling safe and secure and having your needs met. I also want to point out that something I noticed as I was going through each of these points is that they tend to alternate between masculine and feminine. So in this case, the root chakra is going to be masculine. Here are some journal prompts that you can use to help balance your root chakra. In what moments as a child did I feel unsafe? What needs went unmet as a child? How can I begin to meet those needs now for myself? Now, this one can be a tricky one because a lot of people's root chakras are intertwined with money. And obviously it's not, if you could have more money now, that you would already have it. But I implore you to even search within that, because a lot of times the reason you're so caught up with money as a form of security is probably because when you were growing up, you watched your parents struggle with money. Or somewhere along the line, you learned that money equal safety in this world. So the next chakra is your sacral chakra, which is feminine and nature and represents your sensuality and creativity. Something I want you to keep in mind now that I'm thinking about it is feminine and masculine have nothing to do with your gender. Whether you're a man, woman, or identify as NB or anything in between, all of us have masculine and feminine energies, okay? So if you're a guy and the idea of femininity, it triggers you a little bit or you feel uncomfortable with it, then you're going to need to work on that. And this is the perfect place to do that, okay? Because no matter what you are, you need to embrace both sides of you. Your sacral chakra also happens to be the place where your trauma is stored, because trauma is stored in your hips area. So it's really good to do things that move your hips, whether it's belly dancing or hula hooping. That's right. If you're a man and you're uncomfortable with it, get comfortable with it, because you need to be able to move those hips and get that energy flowing. So what are some questions you can journal through? What comes up in my body when I say the word pleasure? How do I view my body, and where did I learn to think of my body in this way? How was creative expression treated in the household when I was a child? Next up is your solar plexus, and guess what? It's masculine in nature. This is all about your willpower and your discipline. If you're capable of having these dreams and visions for yourself, but you lose motivation, or it's easy for you to get talked out of them, then your solar plexus needs work, okay? This is also about taking action and where you overcome fear and self-doubt. So some questions you can ask yourself are: where does my fear of failure stem from? In what ways were you shut down as a child for being bold? What comes up for you when you think about discipline, and why? The trick here is really about creating little wins for yourself. Take the initiative to put yourself on challenges, whether it's a 2, 3, 4, 5 day challenge. Work yourself up. Maybe do something like cutting out meat for 5 days, or going on short little fasts. You really want to start to build up your capacity for what you can do in a slow progression. A lot of times we just jump into, oh, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to go on this diet, or go make sure I work out for 30 days straight. And then when we let ourselves down, that's really just diminishing your solar plexus chakra, because you're reaffirming to yourself that your will is weak. And next up is the heart, and it's feminine. This is all about love, acceptance, and forgiveness. But not for other people. This is for yourself. The byproduct of loving, accepting, and forgiving yourself is what radiates to other people. This is truly, how can you love anybody else if you don't love yourself? Amen? So here are some questions. What comes up for me when I think about love, and why? Was I given the love I needed as a child? And if not, then what would I give to them now? How would my life change if I chose to love myself unconditionally? Something you can do right now is finding out your love language and doing that for yourself. If your love language is receiving gifts, get something thoughtful for yourself. Take yourself out to a day at the movies or something. If your love language is physical touch, physically hold yourself. There was this trend on TikTok where people were holding their face like this, and everybody was like, oh, it's so depressing how touch deprived I am. And I didn't see it as depressing at all. As soon as I saw that, I was like, come here, girl. It feels so good to just like caress yourself and like rub on your body. Do that for yourself. Mirror work is also an excellent thing to do, because what you're cultivating when you do it is vulnerability. It takes vulnerability to look at yourself naked in the mirror and not judge what you see, to see it as it is and embrace what you look like. Also, saying affirmations in the mirror, physically looking yourself in the eye and connecting to yourself on a soul level and saying, hey, we don't have the best relationship right now, but I want to get to know you. I want to know what hurts you. I want to know what you love. I want to know everything about you. You say that to yourself in the mirror, you're going to feel it. And also, make sure you surround yourself with loving people. I know that's easier said than done, especially if you live in a home where, people are a little toxic. I get it. But do your best. If you have the privilege of being able to choose who's around you, then make sure you are filtering out who does not belong. I just wanted to mention, the heart chakra is often considered as the gateway between your lower chakras and your upper chakras. There's something special about your heart space that when you filter out any grudges or pain that you were holding for yourself or others, it really enables you to move through life that much easier. And I actually made a video, I forgot what it was called. I'll link it below or put a little picture here, but it was basically saying that your heart is the key to everything that you want to have. Alright, next up is your throat chakra, and this is all about communicating and expressing your truth. And the key to having a balanced throat chakra is expressing what's in your heart and not what's in your ego, because if you're always talking from your ego, it's easy for your throat chakra to be overactive. So here's some questions that you can journal through. How was my voice shut down when I was a child? What has been my experience whenever I've spoken my truth? In what ways am I silencing myself, even in subtle ways I may not realize? Some of us don't even like to hear the sound of our voice. Like when I first started recording videos, oh my god, it was so cringe because I hated the way my voice sounded. And I know there's like a technical reason behind that because of the vibration inside your body is different when it comes out. But we have to realize that our voice is a powerful, powerful, beautiful thing. So much magic comes out with the words that we speak. We all know that words have power. So you need to embrace that and get comfortable with hearing yourself and realize that you are worthy of being heard. Even if you are just talking about a video game or talking about how nice the weather is, those words are worthy of being heard. And how other people choose to receive those words don't have nothing to do with you. Talk to yourself out loud, literally. Like if you're walking around the house, instead of always just thinking stuff to yourself, talk out loud. Shoot, Albert Einstein did it and he was smart. And we like that. So record yourself sometimes, whether that's just on an audio recording or in a video. That's also a good way to practice being vulnerable with yourself, because a lot of us don't like to appear on screen to ourselves. That's cringe in itself. So do both if you can. Next up is your third eye, which is feminine and nature. And honestly, I don't dabble much with my third eye because I'm a firm believer of it will open when it's meant to open. I do not try to focus on my third eye much at all. But here are some questions that you can journal through. When have I been gaslighted as a child about my own perceptions? How do I feel about my own intuition and why? Do I see my divine power as something to obtain or as something I already have? How do you know this to be true for you? Even though I don't actively work on my third eye, me and my intuition are right here. And the way that I've done that is through practical exercises of learning to trust myself more. Simple little way you can do this is whenever you need to make a choice about something trivial, trust your first gut instinct, right? If you're hungry, right, and there's a McDonald's and a Burger King in front of you, not that we should be eating those things, but whatever. If there's a McDonald's and Burger King in front of you and you ask yourself, which one do I want? I want you to go with the first choice that pops in your head. That is such an easy way to build your intuition, because you are teaching yourself to trust that initial gut instinct and not talk yourself out of it. And tarot, if you have zero interest in tarot, that's fine. You don't really have to do readings for yourself or for others. But tarot was a great way that I learned to build my intuition, because I would literally just say, what do I need to hear today? I would pull a card, and without reading any directions, I would look at the imagery and just see what I got out of it. And I trusted it no matter what. Even when I had that voice in the back of my head, I was like, girl, you don't know what you're doing. I said, shut up. And I said, this is what I'm feeling. And I rolled with it. And the last one is the crown chakra, which to me are united. It's kind of like that thing that goes like this and then boom, this is where they actually meet. This is your connection to spirit and everything around you that's really gonna give you that natural peace you'll feel in nearly every situation. So here are some questions for your crown chakra. Who was I told to be, and when did I learn to follow this path? In what moments do I feel connected to something deeper than myself? What is my relationship with the source divine energy, and how would I define source or the divine? Me, this is all about detaching from the human experience. And I don't mean that in like the disassociation or like I'm better than humans kind of way. I mean it as in you are more than this body that you are inhabiting. And the more you recognize that and have that become your first nature, less likely you are to be affected by the circumstances around you, and the more likely you are to be connected to your intuition, to the divine at all times. Changing your verbiage and how you word the way you refer to yourself can do a lot. So there is a difference between saying, "This is my body," and saying, "This is the body that I'm in." You see what I'm saying? Like a little shift in how you say things reminds yourself, like, oh, yeah, this is not real. This is not who I truly am. Sometimes when I'm driving and let's say there's a lot of traffic, I like to imagine myself that we're all driving on like the rings of Saturn, or like there's a freaking huge ass planet in the background. I take that time to actually visualize, because the more you use your imagination is when you're tapping into that crown chakra of being connected to the divine and the essence all around you. But also taking the time to connect to the trees and the moon, the sun, the earth, and everything around you that grounds you. This is all about finding that balance between being here and then not being here. Whew, that is it for chakras. I felt like this video was long, but I tried to keep it as short and concise as possible because I know you are just here for the information. You don't have time to dilly-daddle. But I am always open to suggestions. If y'all want me to talk more about this, just leave a comment down below, or any suggestion really. I'm always open, and you already know, if you're vibing, please feel free to hit the like and subscribe button. And if you are interested in soultuality, again, the link is in the bio, and I will see you in the next video.